Hey guys, and welcome to Learn to Real Estate. And my name is Scott Buetta. I'd like to welcome you to the Real Estate Trainer. The course that I'm going to be working with is going to be working with the Modern Real Estate Practice by Dearborn. It's a 20th edition, which is a 2020. Okay, and I'm just going to be going through this book each aspect at a time. My process is to teach in small chunks, and I believe that that's a better way to learn. So most of the segments will be in a 10, 12, 15 minute setup. Then you rest, and then you can get back to another segment. I'll have these in a row. This is going to be a segment 1. This is going to be the initial startup. And again, welcome. My name is Scott Buetta, and I will be your teacher, and hopefully be able to teach you how to learn. Again, you're going to be learning all the different wording of real estate, what it's about, the areas that you can use this practice in. But let's start from the beginning. I mean, what we have is real estate. And what is real estate? Real estate is basically, you can consider it something that's not movable. It's attached to land, versus something that is personal, which is movable. So we have, what is real estate? Real estate's real property that's attached to the land. That's all you have to know about that. Real property attached to the land. Okay, and the estate aspect, real estate, is the way in which it's been granted or conveyed, given ownership or rights to. Okay, that's real estate. Took a few years for somebody to teach me that, but now you know. The simple understanding of real estate: it's real property attached to the land, and it's the way in which it was granted to you in ownership and what you can do with it. Whereas personal property is movable, and it can always go with the person. All right. The different aspects, or the business aspects of real estate, all right, which we're more familiar with is the brokerage, which is what a lot of people try to get their license for, and their initial license of being a sales associate, or licensed associate, or licensed salesperson. The licensed salesperson always works for a broker. Okay. When your license is active, you may have an inactive license and be able to make money on referral. Okay. So remember that. A lot of people don't realize that they have to be working for a broker to make money. You don't have to be working for a broker. You can be licensed, and it's called an inactive license. Working for a broker is an active license. An inactive license, you can refer a buyer or a seller to a active, either associate or a broker, and you can earn referral fee. Okay. So that's important. I told that to today, didn't realize that. They told me they didn't have time to get a license, and I said, well, you don't need time. Excellent thing to learn is real estate and contract law. But brokerage is one of the big key business components of real estate. You also have the business of appraisal, okay? Having people come in and give you a valuation. All types of appraisals as well. I always suggest if you were to buy a house, always make sure that the appraisal is approximate to what you're borrowing. And we have property management, another business practice where people take care of property that let's say you own, and or a number of properties that you own that you need help keeping organized. That's property management. You don't have to be licensed. As far as I know, the laws right now don't pertain to a licensure in property management. I know this licensure is an appraisal, in finance, inspection. Finance is the borrowing of money. Okay, refinancing, as everybody's heard of. An important aspect is the inspection. Always get an inspection. I've had so many stories of people bypassing an inspection, ending up getting themselves in trouble to try to save themselves $500. They ended up with $5,000, $100,000 in problems. So an inspection usually is given a reference by someone, either a salesperson that you're familiar with, but I believe they're supposed to be giving you a list of 3. Nobody gives 1 because it's kind of steering. So when you get a group of inspection people, typically they're given to you in a group of 3. Okay, so inspectors, very important. And with inspection, if you can't see it, nobody really knows. So if there's something underlying, they're not responsible. They're responsible for as much as they can see, and they go over a lot for the money. And the sellers don't want much invasive action on their property. What you see, what you get, right? But the inspectors can see a lot more than you can. So it's advisable to have your property inspected, to advise a client and or yourself. Developers. These people can negotiate and take property and turn it into something, hopefully for a profit. All right. And again, developers are someone that you would like to get to know because they usually have multiple units. They may have 1,000 units. Developers. They like to buy land, and they develop that land into real estate, and then they lease it and what have you. Council being legal, tax, associations, MLS, realtors. Okay, these are business aspects within real estate. Then you have the educational function, okay, which I'm part of, which is also ongoing. You have to keep up your credits. Okay, typically there's six credits for a sales associate, 12 credits for a brokerage. But again, these change, so you have to look at your particular state. What types of real property are there, okay? And this also falls within the zoning aspect. So the types of properties are residential, okay, which people live in. No business going on there. You can have an in-house office, they allow. But residential is typically where you live, your primary residence. It's typically a single family. Okay. You have commercial, which usually is zoned commercial. Sometimes they have commercial and residential. Okay. Or they'll have commercial A and commercial B. Then again, we have mixed use, which is both those, or 3 or 4 of those, multiple. They're kind of a gray area in the near the town, you know, where you think about commercial is the center of the area or the township or city, and then you have a mixed use gray area. And then you have a residential outskirts. You have an industrial, which is clear away from high traffic, yet low density residential, industrial, because of the noise and the things, the disturbances. And then you have agricultural, agricultural being vegetables and animals and wide areas of land, you know, that have typically been agriculture for long periods of time. But those are the basics of the types of real estate that you're going to fall into: residential, commercial, mixed use, industrial, agriculture. There's a few more that they have, but those are the main. Okay. What are the markets? The markets in real estate. We have buying of property. We have selling of property. You always have buyers and you always have sellers. And you have leasing. Okay, which is renting or taking ownership for up to a lifetime. Okay, so that's a type of markets: buying, selling, and leasing. The types of housing that we have single family, which runs along typically the residential. Again, the apartment, which leases units, and they share a common area. You know, the single family, they own the land and they own the attachment ownership. There's several types of ownership as well. We'll get into that later. The apartment aspect is where you are into a lease of a unit and you share common areas. Typically where your mailbox area is, your points of entry. But again, you're renting or leasing your main place plus the common area. The condo, okay, is where you own a unit. You own your main unit, and you typically pay a fee, which is a share or a lease. So it's an ownership with a lease attachment, which is a condo fee for the common areas. Okay. Some common areas are a pool or a clubhouse or, you know, the landscaping. Okay. And then you have co-op. Co-op is a let's look at this as an example. A high-rise or a large building, an office building, and the occupiers would be paying a share. So if you have $100 high-rise, which would be nice, and you have 100 people working inside there, they would be paying their full cost is $100. They would be paying $1 a share. Okay, so that's a co-op. A co-op is a share, and they're given particular places inside the building, typically similar. But if you have something bigger in a co-op, let's say my setting is twice as big as your set, I'm going to be paying $2 versus you paying your $1, and that again is a share equity in the co-op. Okay, so that's the basic types. There's more, but those are the basics. Important thing to learn about is the FHA, Fair Housing Act. That's the most important date to remember. Is what they'll ask you is the date of the FHA. It's the Fair Housing Act, and it's 1969. 1969. Okay, it was a great year. Lots of peace activists and rock and roll. 1969. Okay, Fair Housing Act, and the Fair Housing Act has to do with what? Discrimination. Against discrimination. And what is discrimination? It has to do with race, color, origin. Okay, your sex, your religion, your family status, and a disability. And the list is growing. Okay. So again, right now, these are the mains. You can't not discriminate at all. Keep these out of your vocabulary. Even talking to people about any of these things, you do not talk about them. Okay. And again, that's this board. Okay, we're at 16 minutes, 17 minutes. So again, welcome to your initiation here, your modern real estate practice. This is the book you need. Maybe you already have it. Okay. And again, we went over what real estate is. We went over personal property, movable, and real property attached to the land. The estate, real estate, is the way that it's granted to you. Personal property is movable. Those are the person. The different business aspects, brokerage, which again, sales associates are hired by a broker. You can't work on your own. You have to work with a broker. There's appraisals, property management, finance, inspection, developers, counsel, and education. The types of property, again, residential, commercial, mixed use, industrial, agricultural. You'll find these under zoning. Okay, there's buying and selling and leasing. And again, the types of housing that we have are single family, which you own, and the attachments you own. You own the land. Think of the single family. You own the land, everything on the land, attached to the land. Apartments is a lease of a unit, and lease of the common area. And the condos, you own the unit itself, and then you pay a condo fee. But that's owning a unit, and then you pay a monthly fee for the common area, which is almost a perpetual lease as long as you own the condo. And then you have co-op, which is a share of a piece of space in a building. You have the Fair Housing Act, very important, which has to do with discrimination, 1969. And again, these race, color, origin. Okay, you have sex, familial status, your religion. Okay, the origin is what country you're from. For example, I'm Italian, but you can't sell somebody an area of Italians because they're Italian. It's part of the Fair Housing Act, and is considered discrimination if you use any of these things. Okay, in your sales approach. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Very important before I sign off here is if you could please help support the channel, and that way I'll be able to keep this a public entity for you guys. And thank you so much.